What's up, you guys? I'm excited about this episode today. In this particular episode, we're going to be going behind the scenes inside of a fish hatchery, specifically the Erwin Fish Hatchery here in East Tennessee. The guy that's going to be giving our tour today, his name is Tyler Hearn, and he is full of a lot of good knowledge, and overall, he's just a really good guy. Occasionally, you'll see a 3-year-old as well as a 5-month-old, and those are my two boys, and I had brought them along for the tour, and so occasionally you'll hear a little babble in the background, or perhaps just a really excited 3-year-old wanting to know when he can feed the fish. So, hope you guys enjoy this one. I know I did. Let's go learn something about fish.
A little background info.
Yeah.
Erwin, we've been a hatchery here since 1897. We've been in operation since 1897, raising trout on this site. For 120 years, people have been raising trout literally on this location.
That's so cool.
Over the years, our program has changed, like what our main purpose was, and right now it's actually broodstock.
Broodstock.
So we're shipping eggs, about 16 million eggs a year.
What?
To other fish hatcheries.
Okay.
Which is wild. So a lot of the fish that, some of the rainbows you see in Tennessee, North Carolina, but we ship all over the country.
Really?
So like Nevada, Arizona, Missouri.
Whoa. So you're going everywhere.
New York, yeah. So we ship to about 31 hatcheries in 20 to 21 states a year.
So what's, I guess my question is, what's unique about this strain? Like what makes this one so desirable, right?
So we actually have 3 strains of rainbows here.
Okay.
And 1 strain of brook trout.
Whoa.
And so the unique thing that we have between the rainbow strains is actually basically just when they spawn. So by having 3 different strains that spawn at different times, it allows us to provide a bigger window of when eggs are available.
I got you. I got
you. You know, it takes a ton of planning, but like these eggs will be fish that will be stocked, you know, where it's all planned out to where the receiving hatcheries will get the eggs the right amount of time before they want to stock fish, so it'll be the right size what they want to stock. So anyway.
Oh my gosh. So I have to ask.
Yeah.
Well, like, that looks like a lot. Do you have any rough idea of how many eggs are actually in there? So
there's probably between 250 and 300,000 in one of these jars.
No
this
way.
One's a little low, so it's probably like 180 to 200.
But this is insane right here. Hold on, I gotta. Let's take the GoPro off. I just want to get a little bit closer with this because, guys, look at the amount of eggs in there. Like that's, I don't know if you can see down there, but it's like that is a deep barrel, guys. All right, cool. And Tyler's actually gonna pick some up. You can kind of see they're almost translucent.
Yep.
Almost.
And that's a great point because you see the white ones there. Yeah. The white ones are unfertilized eggs or eggs that didn't develop.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so the ones that are somewhat translucent.
Right.
We have a machine, you know, obviously to process this many eggs. We pick the dead ones out before we ship them.
Okay.
So
the white ones
process these eggs. We have a machine that actually will shoot a little beam of light through the egg and determine if it's opaque, it kicks it out, meaning it's not a good egg. And if the light doesn't get broken, it's a good egg.
That's insane.
It'll put it in a different, they're over there on the table, but we can look at those in a minute.
I was gonna say, I don't even understand how that's possible, but that's super epic. All right,
it always amazes me that there's like that much of an industry in sorting eggs that people make machines like that, you know? But believe it or not, there's actually like 5 or 6 different brands and different people, so anyway,
okay, all right.
Different companies. So,
and is that trout over there as well?
Yeah, so the orange ones are actually rainbows and the yellow ones are brook trout.
So yellow eggs are brook trout. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've learned a lot already.
These will be a little easier to see. So that you'll be able to see you maybe start to see, nah, not so much. You should be able to see the eyes on these.
Oh, really?
There you can see the black dots. It's like the black flecks on some of these.
I do.
Those are the actual fish's eyes. And that's how, when they develop and get to that point when you can see the eye, that's when we know that they're getting close to being ready to ship.
Heck yeah.
So,
okay.
Anyway, that kind of stuff.
That's mind-boggling. Cooper, so Cooper, real quick, these right here are eggs. These are fish eggs.
Oh yeah, I meant to show him up close.
Yeah, here, look, take a look at these fish eggs. So fish come from eggs, bud.
And they got little eyeballs in there.
Isn't that cool? All right. Very good. All right.
So we obviously, we don't ship every egg because we gotta keep some for ourselves.
Oh, of course, yeah.
To make the next generation. And that's actually a whole other thing, like managing brood stocks as far as like, you know, we've got to have different alternating year classes to keep the genetics kind of in, you know, right.
Okay. See, I didn't even think about that.
It's different as far as like production eggs versus broodstock eggs versus, you know, so a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, yeah. Man, okay, so that's pretty epic. Now, what's going on back here? We've got a lot of different, like, almost looking like troughs and different things.
Yeah, so over here, so the eggs that we don't ship, future brood eggs, what we call them, the ones that will be the next generation broodstock, they end up over here. Okay. So these are eggs that are either hatching or have hatched. Okay. And then there's fingerlings on the end. Like some of the little tracks where some of the little sac fry are starting.
Oh, okay, so all those little like footprints down there are actually from where the fry have been hatching.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might be able to see this better now.
Totally.
And you'll actually be able to see some of these eggs that are in the hatch. So this screen is a special size so that when the eggs are a certain diameter and when they hatch, they actually get just a little bit more narrow, and so they'll fall through the screen.
What?
And then the eggs that don't hatch will stay up on the screen and not, you know, get fungus or anything on the fish that are hatching.
And right underneath, I just see tons of them. Okay.
Yeah, so these are, so these are brook trout that will be broodstock in 2 years, basically.
Holy cow.
Or we'll use them for broodstock in 2 years.
Yeah.
You'll see later in the video, I guess. In 2 years, you'll see what these fish will look like, and they'll be quite a bit bigger.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
So basically from this stage until about 6 inches, it's remarkable. Like, because you think like a fish that's this big.
Yeah.
That is going to be in, you know, a few months. It's going to look like those over there. It just blows my mind. You know?
Yeah. They grow at a rapid pace. What are they eating?
So right now they're not eating anything. They're actually living off that yolk sac.
Okay, so they're literally living off of the egg right now.
Right, and so they do that for a little while.
Hang on.
Here, these are kind of more of the same.
Right.
These are rainbows, but
but same concept. And man, you can tell they've been hatched a little bit longer because there's more trails
spread out.
Yeah.
And so these are brook trout, and then this will be rainbows that are the youngest. Okay. And then there'll be a week later and a week later.
Whoa.
Under these other screens. So this is 1 week. That's the next week. That's the next week. So
this is a serious operation, man. I did not realize it was this intense. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, so of the National Fish Hatchery, there's 71 National Fish Hatcheries in the country.
All right.
And there's only 3 rainbow trout broodstock stations.
So you guys are a big deal.
It's us, Ennis, Montana, and White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia.
Okay.
We do pretty much all the rainbows for the federal government. And a lot of states, we provide eggs in the same number of eggs to a state. So most of these are crowded up there.
Okay. Let's go check it out. Come here, Coop.
So they're a little bit...
Oh yeah, I saw them. They're quicker now.
Yeah, they're a little bit more mobile.
Okay, watch your head, bud.
And then a week later, this is what they started to swim up.
Now you guys can see. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see this.
So these are what we call swim up fry.
Okay.
And that they've just started eating, basically.
Okay.
So they've absorbed that yolk sac.
Yes.
And so now they need food.
So now you're feeding them.
External food,
So what do you feed something that small?
Pop the lid on that little green thing there and you can see. It's pretty fine. It looks like dust, basically.
It does. It looks like dust.
And this is, you could use it's so fine it'll go through a sieve. Like a powdered sugar flour sifter thing.
Oh my gosh.
So we do that. And then basically, the ingredients kind of stay the same, but the ratios of like protein or fat or whatever, they just change over time. So as they get bigger, basically that pellet size just gets bigger. So it goes from like this dust to an actual pellet.
Bigger pellets. And that's cool seeing them even now eat it. Because when you dropped it, it came down.
They came and ate something cool.
Yeah, they're doing it right now.
And so these fish are separated by a few months.
Are you serious? So this is a rapid growth stage from these guys right here to this next stage.
Yeah, so between these two, there's actually about 6 or 7 weeks probably.
6 or 7 weeks. So we're looking at like a month and a half.
Right. So they're gonna go from that to that pretty quickly.
You wanna go see these bigger fish?
Yeah.
All right, here, let's do it, bud. Holy cow, man. I can't get over how quickly they grew from like this phase to this phase.
So like right now, and pretty much until they get up to that 1 year old, all they're doing is growing. Like that's all the food they're taking in is being converted into growth.
Okay.
And then once they reach sexual maturity, they'll start to develop, you know, eggs or milk or whatever, and then they'll slow down a little. So,
okay. This is insane. And these guys, now what are we looking at here? Are these rainbow trouts?
These are rainbows as well. This is our summer spawning rainbow. So this strain in particular spawns from July until, well, we actually spawned this strain all the way up into November this year, but that was kind of unusual. We usually stop in October. We just had a much bigger demand for eggs than usual, and so we had to do a little catch up. Or actually do a little extra spawn to get some more eggs for people.
Whoa, okay,
so
we got more of the same.
It's a little more interesting, or what's interesting about these is these are also 1 week apart. But when they're that small, it's real dramatic. But now they almost look the same.
I was gonna say, I would not have known the difference between these guys and these guys. Okay, so these are the big boys.
These are our production fish.
Oh, okay.
And so this first tank right here is this 2-year-old male brook trout.
Okay.
And then these are 1-year-olds that just got moved up. So like we just finished spawning these. So we retired all our big fish. Except for these males, because we'll keep them for next year.
Now I can see a tail, so I already know it's not going to be the Appalachian strain.
Right.
Because these are some big boys.
These are bigger fish.
Oh my goodness, Cooper, look at their tails right here, bud. I mean, that's some monstrous fish down there. That's incredible. Dude, I cannot believe how big those fish are. For brook trout anyway, you know?
So these fish are actually going to stay here for another year.
Okay.
So by the time we're done with them, they're going to be pretty significant. I mean, some of these are pretty big.
I honestly can't believe the size of these brook trout. So what kind of strain is that?
So this strain is actually from Massachusetts. It's a strain called the Sandwich strain because it comes from Sandwich, Massachusetts. That's the place it comes from.
Gotcha.
This strain, you know, it's not a native strain by any remote sense. It's a totally recreational strain. So we treat this fish just like a rainbow. It's a non-native species. This species is native, but this strain isn't, so we don't want it to be anywhere around our native brook trout streams or anything.
No, so, that would eat that. They would make the native brook trout a sandwich, unfortunately. So we used to have brook trout. We had a different strain that was from Wyoming. Man, those are huge.
And it just didn't like the warmer weather here. Even though our water's really cold, it's not Wyoming cold. And so this strain, we're hoping that it will perform a little better in the future than the Soda Lake strain, which is the strain we had then. In culture for almost 100 years. This strain, which is pretty crazy, even for
that's cool though.
Even for fish strains, that's a really long time.
So this has a history. This strain.
And so we were pretty excited to try it out here. Because the conditions at the other hatchery are similar to what they are here at Erwin. And they've performed really well so far for us. They've got some work to do on the egg performance, but that's what we're just starting out with this strain.
I feel like they're in the right hands now. So that's good. Whoa, hold on. So these are 1 year behind the ones we just looked at. That's a massive size change.
So pretty significant.
Wow. So check these out, you guys.
And you'll notice even on these little ones, that on the brook trout, the real distinct leading edge of their fins is white.
I see that.
They have that white margin.
I see that.
And then the other kind of key characteristic for brook trout are this pattern on their backs called vermiculations. It's kind of that wormy pattern.
The squiggly.
Brook trout. So vermiculations and the leading edge, the white fin, dead giveaway that it's a brook trout. If you ever catch one in the wild and it's really pale or something, it'll still have that white leading edge and the vermiculation. So
that's cool. And also, I had not heard the term vermiculation, so I just learned something else.
It's kind of a fishy word, so it's one of my favorites just because you never hear it.
Excellent. All right, well, I'm gonna start dropping that in the videos, people.
So every fish that's down here will kind of go into what we call our production fish. So which aren't normal production fish for a production hatchery
right.
are going to be the fish that get stocked.
Yeah.
Like those 12, 15-inch fish.
Yes.
You know, typical stock trout.
Yeah.
For us, that's an 18 to 22-inch fish that we can get eggs out of.
My goodness.
So our production fish are just a little bigger than your normal production hatchery. So.
Okay, now I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Man.
So these are fish that are getting ready to spawn in January.
Okay.
And so these are a different strain of rainbow.
Okay.
And they're a little bit, to kind of give you a better idea of that 2-year-old rainbow size, I guess.
Right. Okay. Let's take a quick look, see if we can see one. All right, Coop, there's some rainbow in there.
We can actually see them out there.
I just saw one fly under the tent. Yeah. He was like not having it.
Right.
Do you get, now obviously you guys have grates over these things. I'm assuming that's because we've probably got some blue herons and different things that probably would like a swipe at one.
Yeah, we get a lot of blue herons that attempt to get in here. That's what the screens are for.
Okay.
And we actually have bald eagles.
Really?
Without, you know, I wouldn't say frequent, but not uncommon. We actually had a pair sitting in that tree.
No.
It's on our Facebook page. Some guys took a picture of them while they were sitting there.
They're just staring down the hatchery.
So they can't get in here, but
we got a ton right here.
Okay, cool.
Guys, look at the amount of fish right here. Are you guys seeing that? This literally is boiling with, now what age are these particular guys here?
So these are those 2-year-old, the strain's called Fish Lake.
Oh my
Fish
goodness.
Lake, California, but Fish Lake rainbow trout.
Okay.
And they're our winter spawning strain. So they'll spawn like the middle of January through around the 1st of April.
Wow.
And so that's when we'll have eggs available out of this strain. Erwin National Fish Hatchery, we're taking eggs from the middle of July, except the 2 weeks right now when you visited.
Yeah, of course.
To until basically the 1st of April.
Okay.
And so that's our kind of our trout work calendar.
Okay.
It's it's most of the year, honestly.
Oh man, so you guys stay busy, in other words.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got a lot of other programs we do out of base out of here too. We work with freshwater mussels and
oh really?
And we help when we can with the TWRA and the Forest Service with native brook trout work. And then we do some lake sturgeon. We help with lake sturgeon monitoring and things like that. When we're really in the thick of it, like recently, we had brook trout, EED. We had 2 strains of rainbows and 1 strain of brook trout all overlap the spawn. So like,
oh man,
2 days a week we were squeezing eggs. Another day we were picking the eggs and shipping the eggs, and then the other 2 days we're just trying to catch up. But and we do all this. We're fully staffed with 5.
Okay, so you have 5 full employees, which is actually one of the questions I had. I was kind of curious.
We're fully staffed at 5, and it requires 5.
Okay, fair enough.
There's not a lot of downtime, I should say.
That's fair.
Especially this time of year.
Okay. All right, so guys, from 7 to 3:30 on the weekdays, you can actually come down here and see with your own eyes what we're looking at right now, which is really, really cool. So, as you guys notice, I've got my son Cooper. He just stole my keys. That was interesting. And we have had a lot of fun looking at all these different fish. It's super interesting. So if you guys are local here in the Tri-Cities and you want to take a look at what's going on down here, make sure you come during the business hours and you guys can take a look for yourself.
We were talking earlier about how this hatchery, we've been in operation for so long.
Yeah.
And even back in 1890s when they were looking at places, this place was chosen because of the really robust spring that we operate on.
Okay, so you're working off of an actual running spring.
Yeah, we're at we can call it a closed source spring. Okay. So it never touches even the air before it goes through the raceways.
That's so cool.
So the spring is actually covered. Yeah. Which is what made me think of it is like we can go up there, but it just looks like a pile of rocks. Because it's all underground.
That's so cool.
And so it gets collected in pipes up there and then put into the raceways. So the first time it comes above the ground is in our raceways. It's really protected, for biological security. No animals or ducks or anything can get in there. So we use an anesthetic to calm the fish down and actually put them to sleep for a brief period when we handle them to reduce stress. So so you'll see some fish maybe later in the video that look like they're dead, maybe though floating upside down or something. They're actually just asleep. It takes about a minute to wake back up or 2.
So guys, don't freak out if you think they're dead. They're not dead. They're just asleep.
What we're doing here is you just notice this water's pretty cloudy in the tub.
Yeah.
And so this is actually a salt treatment. And so the primary reason we're doing what we're doing here today is we're counting these. So we're enumerating how many of these fish are actually in this raceway. Gotcha. But we're salting them while we're doing it to reduce stress of the fish. And it's actually a treatment, kind of like a therapeutic treatment. And so the osmotic pressure between, like inside a fish's body and the fresh water is pretty big difference. And a little bit of salt in the water actually makes it easier for them to breathe, believe it or not.
All right, you guys, that concludes this episode. I hope you enjoyed this one because I know I did. If you haven't already, please give this video a like. Put down in the comments below if you like this style of video where we go into just unique places and learn about fish. There's a lot more opportunities out there for different things like this. And if you guys haven't already and you'd like to become a subscriber onto my channel, I do weekly adventures here in East Tennessee where I go out into the region and I fish for whatever happens to bite. So until next time, you guys, tight lines.